tuned to Planet Vero Radio. I am Cindy Schwartz, and this is the Patient Partner Show. We are broadcast on iHeartMedia and also podcast on Spreaker. I've got my co-host Jeannie Rolla with me on live stream today. She's going to talk in a minute or two, but I have a guess that this is a very unique situation, and it isn't unique, but Jeannie Roller and I talk every week about patients that are harmed and how we are told to suck it up. It didn't really happen. We don't treat patients like that, yada, 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 goes on and on. You've heard us say it so many times. Today we have Michelle Geyer on the phone with us from California, and she's going to tell us this unbelievably heart-wrenching, sad story, true story that has been going on for nearly 20 years. It happened in 2003. Michelle Geyer's 7-year-old daughter, Jessie, was misdiagnosed in an ER in a well-known California hospital and died 2 days later, and nothing to date has ever been done about it or even recognized. And Michelle, we are so sorry, all of us. I cannot imagine that. It is heart-wrenching for us to know that we have been harmed, but to have someone actually die and have so much stuff covered up and just schlepped aside. Go ahead and say it. Michelle, let's talk about this, because we talk about the harmed patient that nothing been done.
Yes.
This is a person that died and nothing's been done.
Yeah. Thank you, Cindy. I appreciate you asking me on here. Yeah, you can imagine. Well, I don't know. This is hard.
It is
My
tough.
little girl was diagnosed correctly, by the way.
Oh, okay.
The ER people ignored it. I don't know. Well, see, I don't have the answer. She was murdered. I call it negligent homicide. And, I never thought to trust. I mean, I thought to always trust healthcare. I never thought to even question it because, I don't know, it just never did.
We didn't either, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. People don't.
Right.
And this is so sad to say, but this is diabolical. And I used to call it the medical mafia. I like to use the term medical cartel because I'm serious, Cindy. I've been doing this, okay? I actually know the law now. I'm on disability, but I put all of my effort in trying to help get the word out so other people don't have to walk in our shoes.
Right.
And that's what I have to stand up for my daughter. I'm speaking for her, and I am speaking for every other mother and father out there that has children. Now, there's all kinds of different facets of problems: sexual assault, surgical assault, addiction, psychopaths, the white coat syndrome, the God complex, the greed of money.
Okay.
All
So
of them.
I'm going to interrupt you for a second, because I'm going to tell the listeners that we are going to follow up with 3 or 4 other podcasts, because these podcasts are 10 minutes. They go by real quick. And we're going to talk about things that you have done since this happened to your daughter, Jessie, in 2003. But right now, Michelle, in like 2 or 3 minutes, tell us the story, the scenario. If you can, I know it's so horrible. If you can, tell us real quick what happened to Jessie, and maybe one teaser thing that nothing was done, and we can follow that up on other podcasts.
Okay, here I go. I'll try to do this. A couple of days before Halloween in 2003, my daughter, we were watching TV, and she was fine. The next morning, all of a sudden, she had a high fever of like 103, 104, and she couldn't bend her knee. She's like, "Mommy, I can't walk."
And she had a scratch on her knee.
Yeah, well, she had a scratch. She fell like 10 days before on her other knee, okay? The one that she couldn't bend was the good, didn't have a scrape on it, and she couldn't bend it. So the ER doctor looks at her, 5 minutes, leaves the room, comes back. His face is like, got this look on it, and I get all nervous, and he goes, "Mrs. Geyer, I want you to rush Jessie to this great hospital, and I want them to rule out septic knee. I'm afraid that she's got it, and I want them to rule it out. I've already called them and told them you're on your way." That's all he had to say. I scooped her up. My little boys were 4 and 3. We rushed over there. We get there. They ignore us for hours. They asked my daughter to rate her pain. And I'm sitting there freaking out, trying to be, like, calm. And we sit in there, and then the doctor comes back, and I am so, like, relieved because he tells me, great news, this is Geyer. Jessie just has flu. She'll last 3 to 4 days. Treat her with Motrin and bed rest fluids. Call your PD in the morning. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Thank you. And so I repeat, okay, this is what I do. And the nurse is throwing something to sign, and I'm like and I'm like, okay, so I do everything. Call the PD. Check in. Okay. Halloween night. This is 2 days later.
Mm-hmm.
My she wanted to go trick-or-treating. She wanted to be pulled in the wagon. And she was crying. And she said, Mommy, this is the worst day of my life. And I said, it's okay, baby. It's okay. Everybody gets the flu. You're going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And her fever broke. And I said, Jessie, this is good news.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 3 hours later, I watched my daughter die.
Oh, my gosh.
Her fever broke, and she turned purple, and but we didn't know what to do, and it went so fast. I just was watching her, and I didn't know what the hell was going on because I thought she was going to be getting better. And then she flatlined and died. And, yeah, so I just was like, what's going on? They said she died from natural causes. And I'm like, I had to do research, and I had to get aggressive. Like, I had to be my own private investigator. Mm-hmm. I had to be like a detective. Mm-hmm. I had to fight. Mm-hmm. And I got a lot done, but nothing happened. They got promoted. Instead of anything happening to this guy, he got promoted. Mm-hmm. I'll just leave it on this, Cindy.
Yeah, let's stop.
The law.
Yeah, let's just stop there for the listeners. Jeannie, I'm going to let you pipe in to give our website and to give, like, we got like 3 minutes left to give like a little information what you think about this. And we're going to follow up with this because this has been going on for almost 20 years that nothing has gotten done and nobody has been held accountable. Go ahead, Jeannie.
PatientRightsInfo.com.
And you can reach us for questions at patientrightsinfo.com. Also, we have Misty Roberts at patientmodesty.org. So we've got a bunch of different patient partners that we work with because can you imagine how heart-wrenching this is? We're harm patients and we don't get anything done. And this woman's daughter is dead with a diagnosis that is like unknown because who has natural causes at 7 years old is what I'm trying to think. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm just wondering how that happens.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, it is laughable, but it's not laughable to the extent that we're not laughing at you. But I mean, it is laughable that this is.
It is. It's diabolical. You will not believe it.
Well, I do believe it. I mean, that's why we do this podcast.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, Jeannie believes it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why we got to do this. It's good that you're doing this, Cindy.
Well, it's good that we're all doing this. So we're going to follow it up. We're going to talk about Michelle Geyer's story and different, different award that she won, different people that she's talking with. I'm talking people in power that know that this stuff happens, and it's still nothing gets done. It's still nothing gets done. And it's not held accountable. And it is so sad. And we talk about this too for the people that are giving good health care, that are out there on the front lines, whatever you want to call it, the back lines, the middle lines, that are, definitely using what their schooling taught them, and they're fabulous people. And how do we sort this out? And how do we live with what's happened? Because we've seen it over and over again. We've experienced it over and over. We live with it every day, with the PTSD, with the trauma, with all the heinous. Right, Michelle? And you know it. Every day.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
They don't understand looking at an empty chair where my daughter sat.
Right.
And it's like every birth,
Yes.
It never ends. It's horrible.
It's
and
not.
the thing, the media doesn't cover it.
Mm-hmm. No, they
That's
won't.
brainwashing. Okay, I'm going to go leave it on that. My daughter, I couldn't sue because she wasn't a wage earner. Period. Heart reform right there. That's one thing. Just throw that out.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. I'm going to let you go, Michelle. I'm going to let you go, Jeannie. I'm going to say it's another episode of Patient Partners. You've been listening to Planet Vero Radio. Please stay tuned.